This rally in the 0x protocol in ZRX is suspicious. When looking at the data, when looking at on-chain transactions, I'm not seeing where this rally is actually coming from. Things seem to be manipulated, and let me show you why I think so. So here's that rally. We are up roughly 22% today. We are at 60 cents. This week we went up by 31%, and this year we more than doubled. But not without drama. We had a massive pump and dump before. Is this the start of another pump and dump? Let's have a look. Because in the past we saw several of those for ZRX. And so we're not going to look at the story, at the decentralized finance protocol, etc. We're going to look at demand versus supply, what actually in the end determines the price. So let's start off with supply. This is the number of circulating ZRX tokens over time. We are now at 847 million. We haven't seen any expansion in the last years. And according to CoinMarketCap, we are at 84.75% circulating supply. As in, there is not a lot of additional tokens going to hit the market. Token inflation should be somewhat tamed. Unfortunately though, we do have several funding rounds, and I couldn't find the unlock period of those funding rounds. As in, have a look at this. There was a Series B on the 26th of April 2022 with various investors, but since April of 2022 we haven't seen any circulating supply increase. So what are those guys getting here if they don't get additional tokens that will be issued? Now let's have a look at a few usage statistics. Let's have a look at what could potentially propel growth from here, how constant the growth is, what could potentially push demand, because in the end it's supply versus demand that determines the price. This is the number of active addresses over time. Sometimes that spikes, sometimes that goes down. There's definitely no constant growth here, unfortunately. Here's the transaction volume over time, pretty much the same picture. There's spurts of activity, but then it tends to die down again. And the social metrics aren't that great either. It's not like a lot of new retail investors enter this. It's pretty much zero growth in the number of Reddit subscribers since the beginning of 2022. And when looking at the 0x Protocol Explorer, we also don't necessarily observe a lot of growth, unfortunately. Now maybe there's something cooking in the background. Let's have a look at whether or not the programmers submit a lot of code changes in their GitHub repository, because if there is a lot of product development, that could potentially create some demand in the future. So this is that GitHub repository of the 0x protocol. We did have an update yesterday and another one 3 days ago, 5 days ago, but there wasn't too much happening in the last few months, relatively speaking. So this is not necessarily something to get too excited about, in my opinion. There are a ton of holders on chain, almost 200,000 holders on Ethereum. That's a lot for an altcoin, but not all of those holders are relevant, because very often there are wallets that might only hold a few cents of the token when maybe a swap wasn't completed properly, or maybe the amounts weren't input properly. So I want to put in some minimum holding thresholds. We want to see at how many wallets are there that have maybe $1,000 worth of the token? How many wallets are there that have maybe $10,000 worth of the token? How many whales are there that have maybe $100,000 worth of the token? We can find all of that out with a tool that I've developed myself. Here's the data. So on the left side is the number of wallets that have 2,000 tokens. So roughly $1,200 worth of the token. That's small retail. Then another 10x. That's medium-sized retail. So that's more than $12,000. On the right side, we've got the whales. That's $100,000 worth of the token. And see, those are very long-term charts. They start in 2017. Let's have a look at what happened in the last month, where the price went up by 27%. Most of that gain, of course, happened in the last few days. Here's the same thresholds, but those charts are only for the last month. Retail actually tended to sell, medium-sized retail as well, and the number of whales didn't change much. So very little project development, very little accumulation, very little growth, if any. No increased social engagement, but for whatever reason, the price went up in the last week. I believe that reason is manipulation, because have a look at this. This is the trading volume ordered by exchanges. Most trading volume happens on a decentralized exchange, on Binance. And have a look at the perpetual futures. There's 368% of the market cap being traded on levered bets on the price on Binance. So we've got Binance handling a lot of the spot trading. We've also got Binance handling a lot of bets on the spot price. So Binance is offering bets on, say, the football game, but at the same time, they can decide where the price will go, right? They can, in the end, decide whether or not you will win or lose. You're playing here directly against Binance when trading the 0x token. At least that's what I believe. I think Binance has a lot of impact here, and it seems like there's not a lot of price movements that organically happen here. Otherwise, we would see much more activity on chain. So I believe we will continue to see this pattern. We will continue to see pump and dumps. Maybe the dumps won't be as massive anymore as in the past, because now there's much less token inflation. Here's the market cap, right? Look at this. The second peak was way higher than the first peak, but comparing the price, they were pretty similar. That was because of token inflation. Token inflation doesn't seem to be a problem anymore, but pumps and dumps are likely going to continue because nothing happens on chain, and Binance levers up price movements in both directions via perpetuals. If it's your first time here, feel free to subscribe. I publish videos regularly. A like would be very much appreciated as well. It helps the channel grow. There's a free Telegram. Feel free to check it out. Looking forward to chatting with you. Link is down below. And access to this tool is available to premium members. Link is as well down below. It's thebitcoinstrader.com. There's all kinds of interesting data. Tokens for pretty much any EVM compatible chain can be plugged in here. See you next time. Bye-bye.